Hey, 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 everybody. Okay. All right, y'all. So, first things first. First things first. I'm listening. Why am I meeting whilst am I listening? Oh, that's funny. Um, okay. So, just have a few things I want to talk about, like happening around us. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Crap. Not that one. Okay. I'm sure y'all can hear my husband coughing. Coughing his rear off. Let's see. Okay. I got you on my computer, and bomb on my phone. And I'm listening, and I'm in a Teams meeting, LOL multitasking. That's hilarious. All right. So first things first, we're gonna go over this right here. Okay. So it says man accused of sexual assault grabbing 15-year-old boy at West Loop store overnight. This is the Chicago Tribune. All right, charges are pending against a man, a 15-year-old boy reported grabbed him inside of a convenience store Thursday night in the West Loop Gate neighborhood, Chicago police said. Around 9:30, officers responded to call for help and spoke to a 15-year-old boy who related a man approached him inside a store in the first block of West Jackson Boulevard, where the man began to physically grab him. The young teen was able to flee the scene, police said. The man was taken into custody once police arrived at the scene. Police said charges were pending and detectives were investigating. Okay. Yeah, that's horrible. In a convenience store. Like, really? All right. Charges pending against man who sexually assaulted teen boy inside convenience store in the Loop. Okay. This might be nothing. Let's see. Nope. No info on that. Hold on. I think it's a video. Yeah, it's a video. Hold on. Mm-hmm.
A teenage boy. CPD tells us the 15-year-old victim was in the 7. Also, right now, Chicago police have a man in custody for sexually assaulting a teenage boy. CPD tells us the 15-year-old victim was in the 7-Eleven at State in Jackson last night when a man approached and started grabbing him inappropriately. The teen did manage to get away. Officers picked up that suspect when they arrived and tell us charges against him are pending. The 7-Eleven closed during the investigation, but will reopen this morning at 7 o'clock.
Wow. That's horrible.
Degrees Tuesday, Wednesday. Murray.
All right. Next. I'm gonna get more info on that the young boy thing. I'm gonna get more info on it later. All right. So a woman was arrested, stopped by off-duty a gas canister and dousing the historic property in fuel on Thursday. Video from the brazen attempt shows a woman dressed in all black freely pouring gasoline on the home's front porch, windows, and bushes around 5:45 p.m. WSB TV reported. Two tourists from Utah viewing the home were able to intervene and stop the suspect, police said. One witness recalled the suspect began to grow irritated after she was having trouble spreading the fuel around the property. The suspected arsonist was quickly detained by off-duty New York police officers who had been visiting the historical landmark and held her until Atlanta police arrived. The off-duty officers jumped on the suspect after she pulled out a lighter and attempted to light it. Wow. Oh my God, that's her. The suspect's name has not yet been released by police. The suspect, 26, has been charged with criminal attempt arson and criminal attempt interference with government property. Police have not released her name. That action saved an important part of American history tonight, Atlanta Police Chief Darren Schukerbaum told WSB TV. Atlanta Fire Battalion Chief Jerry DeBerry revealed the house could have burned down in moments if not for the witnesses stepping in to stop her. It could have been a matter of seconds before the house was engulfed in flames. There she is getting detained. by off-duty New York police officers. The off-duty New York police officers jumped on the suspect after she pulled out a lighter and attempted to light it. The Atlanta Police Department said it's working with the District Attorney's Office, the U.S. Attorney's Office, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, and the FBI on investigating the attempted arson. The home is in the care of the National Park Service, which acquired the property from the King family in 2018 and has been closed to tours since November due to ongoing renovations. Tonight, an unfortunate incident occurred at the birth home of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as an individual attempted to set fire to this historic property, the King Center wrote in a statement Tuesday night. Fortunately, the attempt was unsuccessful thanks to the brave intervention of Good Samaritans and the quick response of law enforcement. The suspect has been charged with criminal arson and criminal attempt interference with government property. Beautiful house. The historic home is under renovation until the end of 2025. Getty Images, the King Center, thanked the quick responses from the Atlanta Police Department and fire departments before adding, "Our prayers are with the individual who allegedly committed this criminal act." The historic home was built in 1895 and has been a cherished landmark in the community and nation for recalling the life of the civil rights icon. King was born at the home on January 15, 1929, and lived there for his first 12 years, according to the National Park Service. The home is about 3 miles east of the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in downtown Atlanta. That's crazy. Crazy. Alrighty, 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 alrighty. Okay, let's see. Let's see if this has any new. Oh, this is a video. Okay, here we go. Wait a minute. Water the bushes? Hmm. I have bushes. Um, they don't require water. I mean, yeah, they need water, but they don't require you to water them like plants, right? Or am I wrong? Okay, I wasn't even screen sharing. Lord have mercy. Now I don't know what y'all saw and what y'all didn't see. Okay. Lord have mercy. Mm.
Smelled like gasoline. The bystanders, who included 2 off-duty NYPD officers, jumped into action.
Okay. Here
The
we go.
birthplace of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., doused in gasoline in an arson attempt. Tonight, one person is behind bars. What we know about them and the home damaged tonight. That is where we begin on News Edge at 11. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Tom Haynes. Atlanta police say that a woman is in custody after trying to burn Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birth home to the ground. A good Samaritan stopped the woman just before the disaster struck. Fox News' Rob D'Arienzo live for us at the scene tonight. Rob, what more do we know?
Tom, such a bizarre situation playing out here earlier this evening. The good news is, though, this could have ended so much worse. But thanks to those quick thinking actions from those good Samaritans, everything is okay here. You can see things have quieted down from even within the last hour. Earlier today, APD, along with federal agents and national park agents, were out here earlier. Right now, there are just so many questions that still remain. We have some incredible video of this incident, though. I want you to take a look at this. Witnesses say that is the suspect in the act holding that red canister. The 26-year-old woman has been arrested, accused of attempting to vandalize Martin Luther King Jr.'s birth home here in Atlanta. This home here along Auburn Avenue has been undergoing renovations, so has been closed to the public for the last couple weeks. Witnesses told police the woman came up to the home carrying a gas can before 6 p.m. They say that she then proceeded to douse the plants and porch with what they say smelled like gasoline. The bystanders, who included 2 off-duty NYPD officers, jumped into action and pinned her down until APD showed. Later, they told cops they intervened when they saw her try to light a lighter.
had a big 5-gallon gas can in her hand and was going like this over the bushes. So I figured she was, related to maintenance for the building or something, was just trying to water the bushes. But it wasn't coming out, and she seemed a little irritated and a little on edge.
If the witnesses hadn't been here and interrupted what she was doing, I mean, it could have been a matter of seconds before the house was engulfed in flames. It was really about the timing and the witnesses being in the right place at the right time.
She finished dumping the gas and dropped it into the bushes. At that point, I called 911 on my phone, stopped recording.
And just within the last half hour, the King Center released a statement thanking first responders, saying, quote, "Fortunately, the attempt was unsuccessful thanks to the brave intervention of Good Samaritans and the quick response of law enforcement," adding, "Our prayers are with the individual who allegedly committed this criminal act." Now, police tell us the woman is facing charges of a criminal attempted interference with government property and attempted arson. She could also be facing more federal charges because this is a federally protected property. That's the latest from here live in downtown Atlanta. Rob DiRienzo, Fox 5 News.
Oh, goodness, just so hard to believe. And thank goodness that home didn't go up in flames, Rob. Thanks for the latest. The home on Auburn Avenue dates back to 1895. Dr. King's parents moved into the home in 1926, and he and his siblings were all born there. In 1968, plans were made to begin restoring the home as a museum. The MLK birth home closed at the end of November for restoration work. It was scheduled to reopen in 2025.
Hold on a minute. I'm gonna let me see. This is to the video that we just watched. There was two different things that I showed. Y'all didn't see the first one because I didn't share it on the screen. But I thought I was, but I wasn't. I did read it though. And this was put out by the New York Post. Okay. So this one actually has a video as well. Look, there she is putting it on the windows. There she is pouring it on the porch. That's the NYPD officers that were off duty that got her. Beautiful home, though. I don't like how close the houses are together, but beautiful home. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so this might be a controversial topic. Yeah, that's crazy. So this might how y'all feel about this, but I'm against abortion. Okay, unless I don't know, maybe certain circumstances I'm not sure. But for the most part, I don't like abortion. Okay, I really don't. And I had someone that I used to work with that was going to get an abortion and asked for my opinion, and I told her not to, but she did it anyways, which is her body. She does what she wants, but I didn't hold it against her because of it. But this right here just doesn't, like, I don't know. Y'all can tell me what y'all think in the comments, but me personally, I don't know if this is a reason for you to get an abortion, okay? So it says Texas judge grants pregnant woman request for abortion. That's the judge. Texas judge granted an emergency request Thursday permitting a pregnant woman whose fetus has a fetal diagnosis to get an abortion in the state. Lawyers representing Kate Cox, a 31-year-old pregnant mother of two, filed a lawsuit Tuesday asking the court to forbid Texas officials from prosecuting medical professionals who provide her with an abortion. The case appears to be the first time a pregnant woman has sought court intervention to obtain an abortion since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade in 2022, leading more than a dozen states to ban nearly all abortions. It also comes as Texas Supreme Court weighs a broader challenge that, if successful, would carve out a more robust medical exception for women across the state. Cox, who was 20 weeks pregnant, learned last week her fetus has full trisomy 18, a chromosomal disorder with high miscarriage rates and little chance of survival after birth, according to the lawsuit. Okay, so this is the lady. And this bothers me for quite a few reasons. One, I don't like abortions. That's my opinion. If you're for it, you're for it. I mean, I'm not going to hate you for it, but me personally, I just don't like it. And two, my youngest son, the test that you have when you're pregnant that like depicts whether the baby is gonna have any kind of chromosomal disorder or, something like that. Well, I had one with my daughter. It said that she wasn't gonna have anything. Turned out she had Down syndrome. I had one with my younger son. Um, they told me he was gonna have trisomy 18. Okay. He turned out he didn't have it. Okay. Trisomy 18, I looked up a little bit about it when they first told me he was gonna have it when he was born. But the first thing that come to my mind when they told me he was gonna have it was not abortion. It was, okay, let me go research it and figure out everything about it and, just learn about the chromosomal, disorder or whatever. But it turned out he didn't have it. But even if he did, I never would have aborted him. I would have kept him and loved him until his last day, because they do not last very long on after birth, because it's a very severe disability. Okay. So this is her with her pregnancy photo. Doctors informed Cox continuing the pregnancy would affect her health and fertility, the lawsuit said. The Texas mother has visited the emergency room several times during her pregnancy. The idea that Miss Cox wants desperately to be a parent, and this law might actually cause her to lose that ability, is shocking and would be a genuine miscarriage of justice. Travis County District Judge Maya Gamble, a Democrat, said Cox appeared to tear up as the judge spoke at the end of the virtual hearing Thursday. Okay, well, let's watch this video.
People with Ford Blue Vantage.
I don't trust those tests. They scared me too. Yeah, I don't trust them either, because they said my daughter wasn't having any disabilities and she had Down syndrome. So.
Survive if she goes through with the pregnancy. Kate. Welcome and thank you for joining us for the second half hour of The Factor Uncensored. An emergency lawsuit with time running out for decision has been filed. A woman says she needs an abortion after learning the fetus would not survive if she goes through with the pregnancy. Kate Cox filed a lawsuit in Texas today. She lives in Dallas. She's the first woman to ask a court for an abortion since Roe v. Wade was overturned. According to the lawsuit, she is 20 weeks into her pregnancy, and she also faces medical issues if she does not get that abortion. That includes diabetes, complications from a C-section, and gestational hypertension. Joining us to talk about it, political analyst Angela Botts and state representative.
Okay, first of all, what if the test was wrong? How does she know that that baby's going to come out having that for sure? Like, no test is 100%. You won't know if the baby has that until the baby is born, technically, because, like I said, my son, they said he was going to have trisomy 18, the same disability, the same one, but he come out and he didn't. The whole time I was pregnant, from that test to the end of my pregnancy, I was expecting to have a severely disabled son. But he only has autism and ADHD. So if I had took my doctor's word and been like, oh, and aborted him, I would have aborted a perfectly fine child. Exactly. Like diabetes, you can get that without being pregnant or complications. That I don't consider that a complication, okay? Pregnant women get gestational diabetes all the time. Okay? What was the other one? Let me go back a little bit.
Political analyst Angela Botson.
Hold on.
Welcome and thank you for joining us for the second
Shoot.
half hour. Welcome and thank you for joining. Welcome and thank you for joining us. Welcome and thank you for
You wanna let
joining
me
us for the
fast forward?
second half hour of the Factor Uncensored and Emergency to Pregnancy. Kate lawsuit. She is 20 weeks into her pregnancy, and she also faces medical issues if she does not get that abortion. That includes diabetes, complications.
Yeah. Diabetes, complications from a C-section, and gestational hypertension. What woman don't experience that during pregnancy? I don't find it that it's going to risk your life. Yeah, my son, I think they classify his as high functioning autistic. But yeah, all children with disabilities are born to whatever God wants them to be or have. And like my daughter came out with Down syndrome, and I love her to death. My son has autism. I love him the same. I don't treat none of them different. Whether they have a disability or not, they're my children. I love them. But what pregnant woman doesn't go through diabetes and complications from a C-section? I mean, I had 3 C-sections. It's crazy, dude. Crazy.
From a C-section and gestational hypertension. Joining us to talk about it, political analyst Angela Botson, State Representative Jolanda Jones. Angela, why shouldn't this woman be able to go through with this abortion from your perspective?
Yeah, it's I don't think we probably differ too much on this issue. I think, like most Republicans, I believe exceptions for life of the mother, life of the baby, rape and incest. Most Republicans agree with those exceptions. This case is tragic and very sad. This woman, the baby, has trisomy 18, is what it's called, and it's a condition that the baby, 95% of children, if they are born alive, will die before the age of 1 year old. It is a tragic, horrible situation, and I don't blame this woman for wanting to do this, for not want to put her family through this grief and this heartache. But I think what we need to remember also is that each state has the ability to make their own abortion laws. And since the Dobbs decision, which is the reversal of Roe v. Wade, we've saved about 24,000 babies, and those babies are going to grow up to have lives, and who knows what those children are going to accomplish. And I will also say that many children are born that are said born with birth defects, or born and they say, oh, you're not going to have a life or a quality of life, and they end up having productive, wonderful lives. And so it's a very heartbreaking decision, and I don't envy anybody in this situation.
Jolanda, let's hear from you on this issue.
So first of all, why do I have to go to court to get an abortion for my body? Is the first problem. So Dobbs set women back forever. And when we start talking about pro-life, saving lives, well, since Angela brought it up, Republicans love your life till you're born, and then they don't care anything.
Absurd.
I did not interrupt you, Angela.
Absolutely absurd.
I did not interrupt you, Angela. So be respectful. Thank you. In any case, why are we doing now in 2023 what we won the right to do in the early 70s? That's just wrong. Now you have doctors who are afraid of losing their medical licenses. You have husbands who are afraid of helping their wives make decisions about their family and family plan. This woman wants to have other children. This baby was wanted until she found out that the baby is going to die. And so now, because of this archaic anti-woman law on the books in Texas, which I wasn't here when it passed, because I would have voted against it had I been a representative then they have to worry about being charged with murder if a doctor performs abortions, which is why she went to, I think, 2 or 3 emergency rooms, and doctors are like, they all have the same diagnosis, but they were like, we can't do it. We don't want to, get charged with a crime. Husbands have to worry about whether they're going to be charged with a crime while trying to make family decisions with their wives about moving forward. And if she's forced to keep the baby until, I guess, she delivers naturally, so she's forced to keep a dead baby in her womb, that's terrible. Or to deliver a dead baby, that is terrible. We know what is going on. As Angela said, this baby has a 95% chance of dying before it's a year. Many times they die in the womb. They should not do that. And it is craziness. It is unfathomable, although we know that we do it because we're in Texas. But it's just terrible. And I hope that the court grants it. And here's a problem. When you get abortions, when you get it matters. She's at 20 weeks now. How long is the court going to take? Are they going to stall? Or is somebody going to appeal? The whole time she's carrying a baby that she knows is dying inside of her.
I think the court will probably act quickly in this. Texas does have the exception for life of the mother and the health of the baby if the baby's going to die. I'm reminded of a friend who had to go a very similar situation. She went to an abortion clinic, five months pregnant, like this woman is, and the heartbreak that she had to go through to have this abortion because this baby was not going to live and has his brain on the outside of his head. It's horrible. And the callousness that so many of these women who go into these abortion clinics, that they literally, the receptionist knew these women's names, like, okay, Sheila, you know the drill. And meanwhile, my friend is sitting there having to go through this trauma of this wanted child that she wanted, having to have this abortion. And I think what we need to put our minds around is that life is important and every life does matter. And I take exception to what Representative Jones just said about Republicans. It's not true that Republicans want to disregard human life. We believe that every human life is special.
Last 30 seconds,
And
Representative.
so on that note, I will say this. Just because you're born does not mean you're going to have a good life. You force someone who does not want children, even if they just don't want them, or a child that has disabilities, you know how hard it is getting your child taken care of in school. The government should not be in the business of legislating a woman's body. And I pray for this woman. I pray for her family. I pray that she's able to make the best decision for her family. She wants to have children in the future. This could actually affect her ability to have children in the future. So the government needs to stay out of our wombs. They need to stay out of our JJs, and they need to let us make decisions to determine the future of our own families.
Out of time, ladies.
Hitler
Thank you
also
both
wanted
for
to
joining
kill
us.
people with disabilities.
Oh, what'd she say at the end? What'd she say? Oh my God. Yeah, she was feisty. But I kind of like, I don't know, that's a very controversial topic, but I mean, I'm just against it. Because I know them tests are false. I know them tests are wrong. So, you're just going to abort a baby that could turn out to be perfectly fine? Just doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense. At all. Okay, let's see. Okay, here we go. All right, this one is wrongly jailed man and hunger strike threat. Okay, guys, sorry about that. Had to shut my door because my son just got up and he'll be gaming and talking to his friends in a little bit, and I didn't want it to interrupt, so I'm back. All right, so this man, Michael O'Brien said he had more than $37,000 deducted from his compensation to cover his living cost while in prison for a crime he did not commit. A miscarriage of justice victim has threatened to go on a hunger strike at Christmas in protest over compensation cost. Michael O'Brien spent a decade in prison after he was one of the 3 men wrongly convicted of killing Cardiff news agent Philip Saunders in 1987. Mr. O'Brien is campaigning for changes to compensation payouts. He claimed that more than $37,000 was deducted from his award to cover his living costs while in prison. The debate has reignited following the case of Andrew Malkinson, 57, who was cleared of rape he did not commit, who called the rules kind of sick. Quote, end quote. The UK government has said it has no plans for changes but keeps all laws under review. In a statement, Mr. O'Brien, who was one of the men known as the Cardiff news agent, okay, Mama's false, 3, said he will be fasting for justice and refusing my Christmas meals over the festive period and starting a hunger strike starting on Christmas Day. I want to express my anger at the continuing victimization of innocent people. The rules date back to a decision made in 2007, by the House of Lords when Mr. O'Brien and others tried to appeal against deductions for their prison board and lodgings. It said that money could be deducted from compensation for saved living expenses. The UK government has been approached for comment. Okay. All right, and next we have y'all be careful on these cruise ships. A Celebrity Cruises youth counselor admitted to molesting kids on board the ship. The FBI alleges in court filing. Right there. Celebrity silhouette. Okay. Oops. A youth counselor working on a Celebrity Cruises ship admitted he molested multiple children while on board. In an affidavit filed last week in Florida federal court, an FBI agent alleges that Chris John Pantanio Castor sexually abused minors while working in the youth center on Celebrity Cruises Silhouette ship. Castor's lawyer declined to comment on the allegations. Castor is a Filipino citizen who had worked on the ship since August, the filing says. The court documents say that the parents of the 6-year-old girl, who aren't named in the filing, approached the youth center's manager after picking up their daughter from the center on November the 27th. Their daughter then told the staff member that Castor had touched her private parts, pointing to her genital area, according to the affidavit. When interviewed by a forensic expert 3 days later, the child said that Castor had touched her under her clothes in an area where the pee comes from while she was playing a video game, the filing says. Wow, what a fucking monster. Security footage from the youth center shows Castor and the child sitting next to each other, and although the view is from behind, Castor can be seen reaching toward the child's groin. The family was on a Caribbean cruise that had departed from Florida a week earlier. Castor admitted to police that he touched the child's vajayjay area and abused at least 3 other minors. Jesus. We have zero tolerance for this behavior, a representative for Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines, which owns Celebrity Cruises, told Business Insider. We reported this to law enforcement and terminated the crew member, and we will continue to fully cooperate with authorities. Castor is now facing federal charge of abusive sexual contact of a minor under 12. If you are a survivor of a sexual assault, you can call the National Sexual Assault Hotline 1-800-656-4673 or visit its website to receive confidential support. Wow. Takes a real monster. Real fucked up person to do some shit like that. Okay. Let's see here. Boom, 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 boom. All right, let me see. All right, Puff Daddy's in some drama, y'all. All right, let's see. All right. Lawsuit accuses Sean Combs, two others, raping 17-year-old girl. Combs denies allegations. This was put out by ABC News December. A woman has issued the hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs, claiming he and two other men raped her 20 years ago in New York City recordings in a New York City recording studio when she was 17. A woman sued the hip-hop Sean Diddy Combs on Wednesday, claiming he and two other men raped her 20 years ago in a New York City recording studio when she was 17. The woman, whose name wasn't disclosed in the court filing, is the fourth person to file a lawsuit in recent weeks, according to Combs, accusing Combs of sexual assault. In the lawsuit, the woman said she was in the 11th grade at a high school in Detroit suburb in 2003 when she met Harve Pierre, then the president of Combs' Bad Boy Entertainment record label, at a lounge. She said Pierre flew her to New York on a private jet and took her to a recording studio where she was given drugs and alcohol until she was incapable of consenting to sex. Then the lawsuit said Pierre Combs and a man she didn't know took turns R-ing her. The lawsuit included photographs of the woman sitting on Combs' lap that she said were taken on the night in question at the Daddy's House recording studio. Combs, 54, denied the allegations. Quote, "For the last couple of weeks, I have sat silently and watched people try to assassinate my character, destroy my reputation and my legacy," Combs said in a statement on Wednesday. "Sickening allegations have been made against me and by individuals looking for a quick payday. Let me be absolutely clear. I did not do any of the awful things being alleged. I will fight for my name, my family, and for the truth." End quote. A request for comment from Pierre was sent to Bad Boy Entertainment. The lawsuit filed in federal court in Manhattan follows three others accusing Combs of abuse. A lawsuit by the singer Cassie containing allegations of beatings and other abuse was settled on November 17th, the day after it was filed. Before the settlement, Combs denied allegations through his lawyer. Two additional lawsuits against Combs were filed a week later. Coffee break, hold on. Un momento. Coffee break. Oop. One accuser, Joey Dickerson, said she was a 19-year-old college student when she agreed to meet Combs at a restaurant in Harlem in 1991. After their date, Coombs intentionally drugged her, then brought her home and sexually assaulted her, according to the filing. A separate lawsuit filed by an unnamed woman accusing Combs and another man of sexually assaulting her and a friend, then beating her several days later. Those lawsuits were among more than 3,700 legal claims filed under New York's Adult Survivors Act, which temporarily suspended certain legal deadlines to give sexual assault victims a last opportunity to sue over abuse that happened years or even decades ago. That law expired last month, but the new suit against Coombs, filed by a woman now living in Canada, was brought under a different law, New York City's Victims of Gender Motivated Violence Protection Law. The city law that allows accusers to file civil complaints involving sexual assault claims after the statute of limitations has run out. As alleged in the complaint, defendants preyed on a vulnerable high school teenager as a part of a trafficking scheme that involved plying her with drugs and alcohol and transporting her by private jet to New York, where she was gang-ard by the three individual defendants at Mr. Coombs' studio. Douglas Wigdor, an attorney for the latest accuser, said in a statement, quote, "The depravity of these horrendous acts has not surprisingly scarred our client for life." End quote. So, that's that. Okay. Let's see. What y'all think about that? What do you think about that? Okay. All right, be right back. Stay seated. Be right back. All right, you guys, I'm back. All right. So this one is a Florida boy arrested after hoax 911 call about school shooting so he could go home early. 11-year-old boy was arrested this week for allegedly making a hoax 911 call about a school shooting that prompted the response of multiple law enforcement agencies and an evacuation of the building. The Marion County Sheriff's Office said it received a call Tuesday around 9:39 a.m. reporting an active shooter at Horizon Academy in Ocala, Florida. Following a search, authorities determined that there were not any armed assailants, weapons, or injured students or staff. The sheriff's office said in a Facebook post on Thursday. An investigation into the incident later revealed that a student had allegedly made the call because he wanted to go home early. The sheriff's office said NBC News generally does not name minors accused of crimes. Quote, this student put fear into his fellow students, staff, and parents, Sheriff Billy Woods said in a statement. For what? A prank? Because you want to go home? I will not tolerate my young citizens being fearful of going to school because you want to be a jokester in hopes of going home early. End quote. In audio of the 911 call released by the sheriff's office, the boy tells the dispatcher, "Help me, there's a shooter walking through the hallway." He tells me the dispatcher's name he tells the dispatcher the name of the school and says he's in building 2. When the dispatcher tries to get more information, he says, he's coming. Then the line disconnects. The sheriff's office said it sent all available deputies to the school. When they arrived, the school resource officer had not heard anything about there being a shooter in the building. But as a precaution, the school was placed on lockdown, according to authorities. MCSO deputies, detectives, SWAT, aviation, and K-9s responded. The officers from Ocala Police Department, the Florida Highway Patrol, and other state and federal law enforcement agencies did as well. The sheriff's office said, quote, a complete search of the school was conducted, which concluded there weren't any armed assailants, weapons, or injured students or staff, end quote. During the search, all school functions were halted and students and staff were visibly afraid, according to the agency. Authorities said the boy had told a friend that he wanted to go home early. When the friend walked away, he left his cell phone unattended, and the 11-year-old used it to call 911. He was arrested on charges of false report of a mass shooting utilizing a two-way communication device to facilitate a felony, disruption of a school function, and misuse of 911 emergency system. Sheriff Woods said that under the law, a person who makes a false report has to pay restitution for the cost of law enforcement response, which in this case will equal hundreds upon hundreds of man hours. This young man is going to need to mow a lot of lawns to pay that bill, he said. Crazy, y'all. Jeez. Made a fake 911 call because he wanted to go home early. Wow. Wow. Okay, y'all, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, notification bell. Make sure you got all notifications on. I'm going to start going live. Matter of fact, tonight, we're going to have a party, game night, karaoke, just let it all hang out type thing. You know what I'm saying? And I'll probably be having my camera on tonight because we're going to party like a rock, party like a rock star, party like a rock, party like a rock star. Okay? So make sure you tune in tonight. I'll post on my community wall what time. So make sure you're following my community page. Okay, here we go. Alrighty. Here, drugs, escorts, and girlfriends. Hunter Biden indicted on tax charges. Oh, it doesn't say anything. It just, you gotta read it. All right. Washington. Hunter Biden, the president's son, was indicted on charges he failed to pay his income taxes. Charges collapsed. Under the agreement, which a federal judge rejected, Hunter Biden was set to plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor counts of failing to pay taxes in 2017 and 2018. Biden is charged in California federal court with 3 felony tax offenses and 6 misdemeanors. He engaged in a scheme in which he failed to pay at least $1.4 million in self-assessed taxes from 2016 through 2019, and also evaded tax assessment for 2018 when he filed false returns. From 2016 to 2020, Biden spent money on drugs, escorts, and girlfriends, luxury hotels and rental properties, exotic cars, clothing, and other items of personal nature. In short, everything but his taxes. Separately, Weiss has charged Hunter Biden in Delaware with 3 federal gun charges, basically alleging he lied about using drugs when he bought a revolver in 2018. Based on the facts and the law, if Hunter's last name was anything other than Biden, the charges in Delaware and now California would not have been brought. I disagree. I don't think it's because of his name. If it had been anybody, it would have happened. I mean, come on now. Break the law, you break the law. Now, after 5 years of investigating with no new evidence and 2 years after Hunter paid his taxes in full, the U.S. attorney has piled on 9 new charges when he had agreed just months ago to resolve this matter with a pair of misdemeanors. Biden faces a maximum penalty of 17 years in prison if convicted on the tax charges, the Justice Department said in a press release. It noted that actual sentences for federal crimes are typically less than maximum penalties. Prosecutors have said Hunter Biden took in $2.4 million in income in 2017 and $2.1 in 2018. Spent all his money on drugs, girlfriend, luxury stuff. Jesus. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Thank you, girl. So, thoughts, anyone? Anyone want to come up? I'll drop the link. I gotta go do some delivering today. That's what I'm about to get ready to do after this live. I've been on for an hour and 20 minutes. If anyone would like to come up, here's the link. Okay, I was going to move on to talk about the I was going to talk about another topic, but I think I'm going to save that topic for tomorrow. I think that's what I'm going to do. Save the other topic for tomorrow. Because it's 1 o'clock my time, Eastern time. So, if anybody wants to come up or, whatever. Yeah. I have a lot on the UNLV shooting, and turns out he was near, he used to teach near where I live. But yeah, I have a whole bunch on him. So it's not going, it's going to take a while. But I am going to go over this one last thing real quick. But it's not, it's unrelated to the shooting. I'm going to show you this one last thing real quick. But I am partying tonight. Everybody, make sure you come and join tonight. It's going to be a blast. Okay. I'll let you know. That the murder of McDonald, Andre McDonald, attempted to cover up the slaying of his wife. His trial was full of dramatic
1800.
All right, hold on. So that video is 28 minutes long. We're not going to watch that video. But we're going to read it. Oh, crud. Okay, there we go. Mute it. Okay. All right, so they met in 2019 in Jamaica. She was 10 years younger than him. Florida. Then they sent him a year later to San Antonio. They had a daughter. She was last, the mom was last seen February 28, 2019, around midnight. Her phone was turned off and she was never heard from again. So I guess this is something we could go over to later, at a later time, because there seems to be a lot on this. So yeah, I think we'll save that for another day as well, because I would like to look up. I mean, he's been arrested for her murder. Her husband was arrested, but you know, it would be nice to go over it. You know, see what it's about. All right, see what happens. So we'll save that for another day as well. Since there's so much on it, we'll just save that for another day. But tomorrow we're gonna go over the UNLV shooting, and tonight we're gonna have a party. So stay tuned for that. Like I said, make sure you keep an eye on my community section, and I'll catch y'all later. Bye.